Hi, just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the First in Show case studies you did. First of all, big improvement over the first case that you guys studied. You certainly learned a lot from that, and I saw a large improvement in the way you analyzed the case and the way you presented the case. So I'm glad to see that, and I'm sure I'll see an equally large improvement in the next case, the Garden Carpet case. I wanted to go over a little bit about some of the analysis in the case. Some of you really nailed it. Some of you were kind of off the mark a little bit. So I've prepared a little Excel analysis, which I'm going to go through quickly, but I'll also post the Excel document to Canvas so you can see it and work on it yourselves and see how it works. Might come into play in some future uh, problem or project that you run into in your work labs. Um, so the first thing we looked at was sort of contribution margin, and I'm not even sure how you should know how this works, but I'm going to tell you how it works because a lot of you didn't quite hit it on the nose. Um, what I did was, in analyzing the case myself, is I looked at um, certain products. Let's move that over there. Some products and tried to see what some comparative pricing might be. And a lot of you did this. So a lot of you took this. So Newman's Own, Bill Jack, Caesar Select, and IAMS were all products that were listed in the data in the case. Newman's Own was organic, Bill Jack was frozen, Caesar Select was a premium canned food, and IAMS was a premium dry food. So I just picked those four because they were different categories, and content per use, and then retail price per ounce. And obviously they vary quite a bit from 19 cents to 6 cents, 25 cents, and 9 cents. Dry food is generally cheaper overall. Caesar Select was certainly the most expensive. Newman's Own was close, but not quite as high. And then I just took that and took it to a 15-ounce comparison, so that would be similar to the quantity that First in Show was planning to sell, and took a rounding to the retail price. From those retail prices, the way margins work is they're chained. So they told you that grocers look for a 22% margin in the category in the dog food category. That's a little bit suspect because once you take dog food out of dog food and put it in the freezer section, maybe grocers are used to a different margin in the freezer section, maybe higher, maybe lower. The case didn't tell you that. But let's use the 22%. So $2.99 would mean that the grocer's margin would be $2.33. So that's the F3 times 0.78. The broker commission would be G3 times 78. So the broker's commission is figured on what the broker is selling it to the grocer for. And the variable cost then is also 787, 15 to the calculation down to tubs instead of cases. So the contribution margin would be $1.16, and the margin on the net sales price would be 63%. So that's J3 divided by H3. This is what we're selling it for. This is our margin. This is what the contribution margin. So our margin is this. Bill Jack, Caesar Select, and IAMS. So that was a way to come up with some potential retail prices, and most of you did this and did a good job of it. Break-even analysis, some of you struggled with that. And I'm just going to quickly go through this because the next page is an interactive break-even analysis, which I think is pretty useful in a project like this. How do I figure out what my price should be at various levels of fixed costs? The 530 and the 730 were the ones given. Those certainly are not the only ones you could have used. You could, I think at least one, maybe a couple of you talked about not doing as much advertising and spending more money on in store, maybe even freezers in store so that the product would sit in the dog food aisle, similar to what Odwalla Juices does or whatever in grocery stores. They have their own coolers. That's certainly a good idea. And others of you talked about going to totally different markets with much lower marketing budgets and going into pet stores or vets. So lots of possibilities here. As I said, there's no right answers. Break even, if we're going to price at $2.99 a tub, the break even units are going to be 530,000 divided by my contribution margin. So 530,000 is my fixed cost divided by contribution margin. That means I have to sell 350,000 tubs. The wholesale price of that is $637,000, which would be 10% of the canned dog food market sales in supermarkets and 11% of the canned dog food sales in specialty channels. A lot of you didn't pick up on the fact that if you're only going to supermarkets, you're only looking at 36% of the market. And then the other thing a lot of you didn't pick up on is, what is this product comparable to? Is it really comparable to dried dog food? Dried dog food is inexpensive. It's also very convenient. It's not messy. The dog owner doesn't have to deal with smelly, messy things. First in Show is going to be messy and it's going to be smelly. It's meat, so it's going to be, if the dog doesn't finish it or whatever, it's gooey, it's messy. It's like, at least in my opinion, it's like canned dog food. So probably you want to look at your market share in terms of what percentage I'm going to have to attract of the canned dog food market. So if I price like Caesar Select, I need 10% or 12%. If I price like Bill Jack, I need 95% or 106% to break even. Wow. 95% of the market share of canned dog food in supermarkets in order to break even if I price like Bill Jack. And that's pretty hard to do. The last thing I did was sort of an interactive thing, and this I think is probably the easiest way to do this, and basically we can change this number. We can make it $29.99 a case, which is $2.50 per tub, and it will tell me my break even for various things, and then it'll also tell me my percentage of the markets: total Boston market, Boston supermarket market, Boston canned dog food in the supermarket, percentage of Walmart dog food sales, and you could go on. I didn't go on to all of the different things you could do, but pretty easy to do, and obviously you can also change the fixed cost from 730 to 530, and it changes what you need to get, what percentage of the market you're going to get, and it changes your break-even point, and so forth. So that's the kind of thing you should be trying to do to analyze. And many of you did this. I'm not being critical. I'm just trying to help people understand that you need to look at and what's going to happen. And in the lectures this week, I'm going to talk a little bit about smell test. If you're making a recommendation, you gotta make sure it smells right. Obviously, if you recommended pricing like Bill Jack, you're telling your client that they need to get virtually 100% of the market that is in supermarkets that's currently going to canned dog food. Now that's probably not attainable. So that's a thing that you need to look at. Probably doesn't smell right, I guess is the point. So that's all I had. Overall, very good. Your results are posted. I apologize for being slow in getting them back. There's a lot to read and a lot to analyze. You should have comments on your papers, so read them carefully, and good luck on the carbon carpet case. Thanks.